Given the complexities that underlie our behaviors, we may find it quite challenging to discuss culture openly with each other. In her book, Gurwinder Gill refers to the elephant in the room as our discomfort in asking about cultural practices, values, and beliefs that might be different from our own. We may be uncertain about how to begin this type of conversation, have concerns that it might be perceived differently than we intend.
I would encourage managers to ask questions, colleagues to ask questions if they don't understand something about each other. But it has to be done in a very respectful way. There has to be some context provided, not only from a verbal communication perspective, the tone, the context setting, the relationship building trust is so very important, but from a non-verbal communication perspective, and non-verbal communication is huge, and many people from different parts of the world actually focus more on the non-verbal communication piece than the actual verbal. So we've got to be careful how we're asking questions of our employees, knowing that there's a different type of style of communication that exists. So ask questions, ask the right questions, but ask them in a very respectful way.
For this lesson, we ask internationally educated health professionals some questions about nonverbal communication. Keep them in mind as you reflect about your own nonverbal style in the exercises below.
I think the eye contact thing is huge. You know, in my presentations when I talk here, I typically ask the question of the audience, so how many of you were brought up with your parents saying, look at me in the eye when I'm talking to you, and especially when they're telling you off. So I'll see the majority of the hands go up because that's what people have been brought up as. Then they're surprised when I turn around and say, well, I was brought up the complete opposite. My parents actually told me, don't you dare look at me in the eye when I'm talking to you, because it's considered confrontational or a challenge.
As the same with other Asian nations, I think eye contact, especially when it's in a professional manner, is used a lot. And then once there's something that's happened, like or an error or something like that, they usually tend to look down.
It's a British or now a North American model of education back in Pakistan as well, depending upon where you are studying and what kind of resources you have. But eye contact is not considered inappropriate. Yeah.
Actually, when you meet your elders, you don't make an eye contact. When you meet same age group, you make an eye contact. It's good. In professional, it's good, but in culture, it's not good.
Out of respect, an employee may not look at the manager when they're talking to them or when there's a meeting going on, and so if that isn't understood, that can lead to challenging thoughts on the part of the manager, let's say.
I think Filipinos mind their personal space, so I think a good distance of like what we have right now, maybe like 3 feet or something like that should be fine.
You know, after 5-10 minutes it's okay to hug or you handshake or anything else. But at first, I think most of the population in India thinks that keeping a distance is a good sign of respect, that you respect a person.
Those things must be very much respected. Big difference, no touching at all. You know, about also, we have a very strong religious background that makes those things clear, that everybody respect about the male-female relation especially. They are more formal than female-female relation or male-male relation.
In Pakistan, it's not considered appropriate for a man to touch women. And I don't think it has to do anything with their faith or religion. I think it's a culture. Like, women are considered more respectable and you need to respect them. You don't touch them without their permission. The cultural norm is that women are supposed to carry themselves with more poise. So they will not be very open with their emotions, or they may not be openly showing their feeling as a man may be in any particular situation.
We have, you know, a very emotional way of talking, we're very expressive. Maybe it's different than here. When they talk, when we have a special occasion, everybody must know, you know, and we celebrate everything. We like celebrations, but anger, when expressing anger, this is not acceptable.
Filipinos are known to be a very, they really smile a lot. We're known as a happy nation, I would say. For anger, I don't think it's very often seen in public. I think it's more private when you see someone who's really angry and stuff like that. It's more like really happy and very positive and optimistic about life.
In Canada, people, they smile when you cross them, when you walk by them, and I think that's the best thing. Smiling, it induces respect and affection. Once you smile at a person, I'm just big fan of that person who smiles at me. Yeah.